welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back to the channel, guys. Last night in the Copa del Rey, it was disappointment for us Barça fans, falling down to Sevilla and leaving ourselves a lot to do in that second leg. But right here and now, we are moving on, because in today's video, we are going to be discussing what Barça need to do, what Ronald Koeman needs to do before our big game, the biggest game of our season. It's now Paris Saint-Germain. This is a Champions League game that's going to demand the absolute maximum that we have. And of course, we have to prepare the best we can. And I know right now, you're all typing away. What we can do, we can learn to defend. I agree with you. But we're also going to be talking about many other aspects in today's video, coming right up for you. So let's get to it. Because of course, looking at this game, it's on Tuesday, just a matter of days away. You can't fix every problem this team has overnight. You can't even fix every problem that we have in a single season. Koeman has found that out already. But of course, we do have to try to make the necessary steps to make sure we give ourselves the best possible chance of getting past what is a very good team in Paris Saint-Germain. And my number one point would be, don't linger on the result against Sevilla. It's all about moving on now. It's all about making sure that performance, that result last night, which wasn't good, it was a poor performance. I felt like we were quite flat throughout the game. We never really got going. We never really got into our stride. But we can't let that take over us now. We can't let that really hinder our confidence, because we also have to zoom out here, have a little bit of long-term thinking and say, you know what, that was only our second loss of the year so far. It's not ideal. It's not something that we would have liked, but let's regroup now. Let's get back together again, move on, look at the next game that we have, which is in La Liga, and then of course against PSG. It's time to refocus. And speaking of that Alaves game, my second point there would be all surrounding the selection in that game. Because I think here, ahead of Paris Saint-Germain, what Koeman has there in terms of his team selection is some big decisions that he has to make. Because ahead of that game, you've got to get the balance right. You have to really prepare yourself in the best possible way. Because on the one hand, let me put it to you like this. On the one hand, we can't afford any more injuries. We all know that we have massive injury problems right now, and we can't afford any more, believe me. And also, when you look at the fixture schedule, you can quite clearly see that many players need rest right now ahead of that game. But on the flip side of that, and this is where getting the balance right comes in, you still need to beat Alaves. You still need to go there on Saturday and make sure we don't have another problem. We don't have there another game where we fall below the standards, because suddenly then you're getting into a bit of a rut. Then the confidence goes down even further. So Koeman, in that Alaves game, he's got to get the balance right, he's got to rotate, he's got to give a few players rest, but you've also got to have enough to win that game. And the third point too, again, for me, it relies heavily on Ronald Koeman, specifically when it comes to that one daunting word that I did discuss there in the intro. It's a word that Barça fans have come to fear when talking about our team: defending. Because that alone will probably decide the Paris Saint-Germain game. Because let's face it, among all of our failures, whatever you may feel is wrong with this team in terms of personnel, in terms of coaching, whatever you want to say, the very heart of our defence, that's the issue. Individual mistakes, that's been a problem all season. And of course, right now, you're looking at it, Araujo is struggling to get back. He's desperately trying to be ready to play that game. Apparently, a risk could be taken to start him regardless and see how he goes. But of course, just in case he's not back, and even then, even if he does, he's going to need a partner. For me, that's where Koeman now has to make a big choice, because you have to commit there to a player that you want at the heart of your defence against PSG. Who's it going to be? You've got Umtiti, you've got Longley, you've got Oscar Mingueza. And who do you go with right now? That would be the question. Looking at what you've got to commit there to one player. You've got to put a lot of faith and trust and give confidence to that one player, at least, to step into that defence. But who's it going to be? You look at earlier on in the season, Clement Longley, he was once a dependable pair of hands, but after individual mistakes, penalties given away, costly goals that we've given up because of those mistakes, Longley has simply not been good enough over the season so far. You've got Samuel Umtiti, who came back in after such a long absence, trying to get himself fit again now. He started quite well, he looked quite commanding, but against Granada in the Copa del Rey, and again last night against Sevilla, those cracks again, they are starting to surface. And even Oscar Mingueza, somebody there who has been pretty dependable. When he's been called upon, you've got to say, he really has given us everything, but it also depends there on Serginho Dest, because we might need Mingueza to play right back if Dest does not come back. So this is what I mean. Koeman here has to really try and look at that defence and say, right, this is what I'm doing, this is what we're going with, We need some clarity. And point number 4 would actually be going there deeper into our defensive problems, deeper there into the goals that we've conceded, because point number 4 for me is all surrounding the structure of this team, in particular, out of possession. Because I think this is a big, big problem, and has been now for Barca, not just over the last 1 or 2 games. This has been an issue right throughout the season, and going back several seasons now. When we lose the ball, we do not set ourselves up to win it back in an effective manner. We do not set ourselves up there to stop counter-attacks. And against a team like PSG, you've got to try and prepare for that. You have to be better as a collective. When you're not in possession of the ball, you've got to try and shut them down. You've got to try and close down those spaces, because otherwise they'll kill you. You think of players like Mbappe, the pace that PSG have. If we leave ourselves wide open, they will take advantage, because you look at it the weekend against Real Betis. It was a very simple moment. Mingueza was going forward there from right back, loses the ball. Now that shouldn't result in a goal. There's no way there that we should be cut apart as easily as we was in that moment, but it only took a few passes. 1 or 2 very simple passes for suddenly there, Betis to cut through our entire team. And that's the case time and time again. And what it takes now is for Koeman to be on the training ground and just drilling the players. When you lose the ball, you'll be here. When we lose the ball in this area, you make sure you're in there. It's all about planning. It's all about preparation. And against a team like PSG, we've got to get it right. Last but not least, though, is probably one of the most important points of all, and that's why I've left it here until the end. Number 5, don't chase the game. Do not chase the game in a first leg encounter. We've got to learn here from what we did yesterday and what we did wrong against Sevilla. Because like I said in the match review yesterday, at 1-0, 85 minutes gone, we hadn't played well, it was going to be a loss, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world. 1-0 away at Sevilla, it's manageable. You can come back from that, it's not really a massive issue. But for us then to be so naive, to really push high up the pitch, to commit too many men there going forward, trying to chase this equaliser, well, we could have just waited for the second leg there to really react to that defeat. But no, we then get caught out. Like I say, it's naive, it's not inexperienced, these players know what they're doing, but we went too all out too early. Sevilla scored again, and 2-0. It's a very different scoreline. So if things aren't going well against PSG, obviously we hope that we start well, that we get the first goal. But if we don't, we have to stay calm. You can't go and panic in the first leg. You can't really there go and throw the game away all in that first 90 minutes. It's a two-legged tie for a reason. Let's stay composed, stick to the game plan, which we need to have, and hopefully we will come out successful. And speaking of Paris Saint-Germain, just to give you the latest here on Neymar Jr, who, as we spoke about yesterday, went off injured in a cup game for PSG on Wednesday evening, and right now he appears to be out of the first leg against Barça. He has suffered a grade 2 injury to his adductor and even could be a doubt for that second leg, with confirmation expected soon. But if Neymar was to miss the game, of course for PSG, a massive, massive blow. But with that said, regardless of Neymar's availability, the game plan doesn't change. Because even if Neymar doesn't play, PSG still pose a huge threat, they still have extremely good players, and we are still going to need to be at our best. But of course, ahead of this game, that wouldn't be the news they wanted. But of course, guys, let's make no mistake whatsoever. I'm talking about the PSG game here coming up on Tuesday, but we still have a very important game in La Liga coming this Saturday. We're playing against Alaves, which is not only important, like I say, to build that confidence, but also in the La Liga title race. With Atletico dropping points in their last game, things are opening up just a tiny bit again. And I'm going to have all of that build up coming up tomorrow. We have to move on. We have to keep on fighting with everything we've got. And I please do invite you, as always, to leave those thoughts in the comments down below. What did you make yesterday of our performance against Sevilla? What have you made now the day after that game? How are you feeling? And looking ahead to PSG, what are your thoughts on what could happen come Tuesday evening? I will see you soon, guys. And ahead of that game, believe me, there is so much coming your way. I'll see you then. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.